In December 1987, 39-year-old Charles Southern Jr., an English professor at a Chicago community college, vanished without a trace. His disappearance has long been linked to his involvement with conscious development, a spiritual movement founded by Terry Hoffman that was long accused of being a cult by detractors. This case remains unsolved, with many believing that Southern's association with Hoffman played a significant role in his mysterious vanishing. Terry Hoffman established conscious development in the 1970s, attracting individuals seeking spiritual enlightenment. The organization, however, has been labeled by some as cult-like due to its secretive practices and the undue influence Hoffman appeared to wield over her followers. Members were taught about battles against Black Lords, malevolent entities that Hoffman claimed attacked her on various planes of existence. She urged her inner circle to construct psychic shields for protection, fostering an environment of fear and dependency among her adherents. Southern's quest for spiritual growth led him to quickly ascend to a leadership position in conscious development, conducting meditation sessions and classes. He even visited Hoffman's home in Dallas, Texas, indicating his deepening involvement. Southern began to exhibit increasingly bizarre behavior the deeper he got involved with Hoffman. His family grew extremely concerned when he was found wandering Chicago's streets, speaking incoherently, a stark contrast to his previously stable demeanor. Following this incident, Southern was hospitalized for a period of time. Despite his release and return to routine activities, friends noted his growing disenchantment with Hoffman, though he remained active in her organization. In December 1987, Southern planned a 2-week trip to India during his college's winter break. When he failed to return as scheduled, his family investigated his home. Inside, they discovered his passport, devoid of any entry stamps, suggesting he never embarked on the journey. More disturbingly, they found a vial containing a substance similar to curare, an extremely potent poison traditionally used in blow dart-based weaponry. Further, a winter coat and hat were neatly folded inside out on a ceremonial stool, which has been reported to be a Nigerian tribal symbol for either death or transition. Additionally, 2 poorly written notes, appearing to be wills, were found, naming Hoffman as the executor of his estate. Hoffman denied any involvement in Southern's disappearance and was never charged in connection with the case. However, her name has been associated with several untimely deaths of her followers and close associates, often under suspicious circumstances. Many of these individuals had also named Hoffman as a beneficiary in their wills, leading to allegations of manipulation and undue influence. Despite these controversies, concrete evidence linking Hoffman to any criminal activities has remained elusive, and she passed away in 2015, a free woman. Given the known details, it seems plausible that Southern's growing doubts about Hoffman's teachings may have led him to a crossroads. Observers note that his mental well-being deteriorated soon after he fully embraced the group's esoteric practices. The discovery of curare in his apartment points to a potentially sinister element in his final days. Some speculate he was coerced or manipulated into a final ritual, especially considering the tribal symbol implied by his inverted winter coat and hat. There's no proof Hoffman orchestrated Southern's disappearance, yet the pattern of unusual deaths and alleged undue influence cast a long shadow over his case. In May 2011, a perplexing event unfolded in Mungyong, South Korea, that caught international headlines. A 58-year-old taxi driver, identified only by his very common surname, Kim, was found dead in a manner eerily reminiscent of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. This incident not only shocked the local community, but also drew international attention due to its unusual and disturbing nature. Kim's body was discovered on May 1st, 2011, in an abandoned stone quarry. He was found wearing only his underwear and a crown of thorns, with his hands and feet nailed to a wooden cross. Additionally, he had a stab wound on his right side and nylon strings tied around his neck, suggesting a deliberate attempt to emulate the crucifixion of Jesus. The initial discovery raised suspicions of foul play. However, after a thorough investigation, police concluded that Kim had orchestrated his own death without external assistance. Also, if censorship wasn't such a big thing around these parts, I could have replaced those 7 words with 2. But hey, I'm not going to change the system. Evidence supporting this conclusion included detailed notes found at the scene, outlining plans for the crucifixion, as well as tools such as a hammer, an electric drill, and nails. It appeared that Kim had drilled holes in his hands, allowing him to slip them over nails pre-positioned on the cross. He also nailed his feet to the structure, tied his neck to it, and inflicted a stab wound, likely to mimic the wound Jesus suffered from a Roman soldier's spear. Further investigation into Kim's background revealed that he was a devout Christian, described by acquaintances as having fanatical religious views. Prior to his death, he had closed his bank account and canceled his mobile phone contract, actions interpreted as preparations for ending his life. The case took an additional twist when it was revealed that the person who discovered Kim's body was a former Christian minister named Ju Hyun Soo. Ju and Kim had met 2 years prior, and Kim had been a follower of Ju's religious blog. The proximity of the crucifixion site to Ju's residence and their prior acquaintance led police to investigate whether Ju had any involvement in the incident. However, Ju denied any participation, stating that he had not been in contact with Kim since their initial meeting. While many theorize that this case may have been covered up by powerful individuals, to me all evidence suggests that Kim was just a deeply unwell individual. Furthermore, it's not unusual that a religious fanatic would follow a blog of a local pastor. In fact, it may have been more unusual if he had no connections with the community. Big shout out to subscriber Ashley Krause, who suggested this obscure case in the comments. Hey everyone, it's Jimmy here. Hope you're enjoying the latest entry in this series. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and to check out my other channels on my channel page. Solipsism is a philosophical theory that posits the self as the only thing that can be known to exist for certain. This theory suggests that only one's mind is sure to exist, while the existence of anything outside the mind, including the external world and other people, is uncertain. There are 3 primary forms of solipsism: metaphysical, epistemological, and methodological. Metaphysical solipsism asserts that nothing exists outside of one's own mind. In this extreme form of subjective idealism, the external world, other people, and even abstract concepts like time and causality have no independent existence beyond one's mental states. This is because all of these entities are seen as mere constructs or representations within the self's mind. For a metaphysical solipsist, reality is the individual's personal experience, and anything outside of it, including unperceived objects, does not exist in any substantial sense. One argument for metaphysical solipsism is that there is no direct or necessary connection between mental experiences and physical objects. Just because someone perceives something, it doesn't necessarily follow that the object exists independently of their mind. For instance, one could be dreaming, hallucinating, or misled by their senses. In this view, it is conceivable that the entirety of reality is merely a projection of the mind itself. While metaphysical solipsism asserts that only the self exists, epistemological solipsism is more modest, claiming that knowledge of anything beyond one's own mind is uncertain. In this view, one does not necessarily deny the existence of the external world or other minds, but argues that their existence can never be confirmed. Since the self has no direct access to any reality beyond its thoughts, it cannot be certain that anything external to the mind truly exists. This form of solipsism is less a declaration about the nature of reality and more a skeptical position regarding knowledge. René Descartes' famous quote, "I think, therefore I am," touches on the core of epistemological solipsism. This famous line acknowledges that the act of thinking proves the existence of the thinker, but offers no conclusive proof of the existence of anything beyond the self. Methodological solipsism does not necessarily assert the truth of solipsism, but instead uses it as a starting point for philosophical inquiry. In this view, the individual self and its experiences are the only valid foundation for developing knowledge. This position is commonly used as a form of extreme skepticism, questioning the assumptions we make about the world. While methodological solipsism emphasizes that knowledge must begin with the self, it does not necessarily conclude that only the self exists. It is often used as a tool to explore broader philosophical problems, particularly in the context of skepticism about perception and knowledge. The primary argument for solipsism rests on the idea that individuals have direct access only to their own mental states, thoughts, sensations, emotions, and perceptions. Since individuals can't experience the world outside their own consciousness, the existence of anything beyond their mind is speculative at best. Even when individuals interact with what they perceive to be an external world, they are ultimately only experiencing representations within their own mind. For instance, when one sees an object like a tree, what is experienced is not the tree itself, but the image or perception of the tree in the mind. Solipsists argue that there is no way to bridge the gap between perception and external reality. The only certainty is the existence of the perception itself, not the object perceived. Moreover, solipsism suggests that because all experiences are necessarily private and subjective, there can be no external verification of other minds. Each person's mental states are inaccessible to others, and one can never be certain that other minds, similar to one's own, exist. This lack of access to other minds reinforces the solipsistic view that only the self can be known to exist. Some theorists argue a solipsistic worldview is promoted by the elite to maintain control over the masses. According to this belief, the elite create a carefully curated version of reality through media, education, and technological control. This worldview implies that individuals are trapped in a constructed illusion, unable to perceive the true nature of existence. This aligns with solipsism's core idea that one can only be sure of their own mind's existence. Proponents argue that this manufactured reality disconnects people from authentic experiences and critical thinking, making them easier to control. By monopolizing access to information and shaping cultural narratives, the elite allegedly reinforce their dominance, ensuring that only their perspective is accepted as truth. This idea reflects solipsism by casting doubt on the existence of an external reality independent of the powerful few, who are seen as manipulating perceptions to serve their interests. The Paul is dead theory is one of the most infamous and enduring theories in music history. It posits that Paul McCartney, the legendary Beatle, died in a car crash in 1966 and was secretly replaced by a look-alike. This theory first emerged in the late 1960s and quickly captivated the public, gaining momentum through a series of supposed clues embedded in their songs, album covers, and appearances. The rumors surrounding McCartney's death first surfaced in 1969, although speculations about his well-being began earlier. In December 1965, McCartney was involved in a moped accident, leading to minor injuries, which prompted worries about his health. A second wave of rumors followed in 1967, when some speculated that a car accident had killed McCartney, but these claims did not gain widespread traction at the time. The theory exploded into public consciousness in October 1969 when a caller named Tom phoned a Detroit radio station and informed disc jockey Russ Gibb of McCartney's passing. The caller urged Gibb to play the Beatles' song Revolution 9 backward, claiming it revealed the message, "Turn me on, dead man." The strange audio discovery stirred up significant interest, and soon after, a student from the University of Michigan published a satirical article discussing the theory. In this article, he dissected the Beatles' Abbey Road album cover as evidence of McCartney's death. This article, titled "McCartney Dead, New Evidence Brought to Light," was taken far more seriously than the author intended, and newspapers across the United States began reporting on it. Also, I love that mainstream newspapers were reporting on details from a parody article from a college campus, apparently conducting zero fact-checking. As the rumors snowballed after October 1969, the story became an international sensation. Radio stations across the United States began to discuss the theory, with some disc jockeys dedicating entire shows to dissecting Beatles songs for hidden clues. To put it in our modern context, the theory went viral, and every content creator had to pile on to get a piece of the action. The theory suggests that the Beatles, along with their management and the British government, covered up McCartney's death to avoid mass hysteria and protect the band's profitability. The replacement, supposedly a Scottish orphan named Billy Shears, was selected due to his striking resemblance to McCartney and his similar musical abilities. Fans believe that the Beatles left numerous cryptic clues about McCartney's passing in their albums as a way of confessing to the public without directly addressing the issue. Proponents of the theory pointed to an apparent wealth of evidence hidden in Beatles lyrics, album artwork, and promotional materials. The most prominent source of these clues is the Beatles' Abbey Road album cover, released in 1969, which supposedly contains numerous visual hints of McCartney's death. On the cover, McCartney is the only member of the band walking barefoot, and he is out of step with the other three band members. Conspiracy theorists interpreted this as a subtle symbol of death. Additionally, they claimed the procession of Lennon in white, Starr in black, and Harrison in denim represented a priest, undertaker, and gravedigger, respectively. The album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band also became a focus of intense scrutiny. The use of the name Billy Shears in the album was thought to be a direct acknowledgement of Paul's departure. Fans pointed to the cover's inclusion of a floral arrangement resembling a bass guitar and the presence of a hand hovering above McCartney's head. Additionally, fans claimed that if you play the final moments of Strawberry Fields Forever backward, John Lennon can be heard saying, "I buried Paul." On October 10, 1969, the band's press officer Derek Taylor issued a statement denying that McCartney had died, but this only seemed to stoke the flames of speculation. Meanwhile, McCartney's relative silence during this period added fuel to the fire. He had retreated to his farm in Scotland with his family, partly due to the stress of the Beatles' impending breakup, as well as the birth of his daughter, Mary. The theory gained such viral traction that by November 1969, McCartney was forced to come out of seclusion to address the rumors head-on. In an interview with Life magazine in that month, he advised that the rumors were stupid, and he was in seclusion because he had gone through 10 years of constant extreme fame. While Paul was initially miffed by the theory, he eventually came around and found the humor in it. In 1993, McCartney released a live album titled Paul is Live, mocking the theory's absurdity. The album's cover, which mimicked the Abbey Road image, featured McCartney walking his dog and standing out of step with the dog. However, there's another less well-known conspiracy theory related to the Paul is dead theory. Under this theory, the entire rumor was spread by someone with a financial interest in the Beatles. By starting such a rumor, everyone was talking about the Beatles constantly, driving even further record sales. The interdimensional alien hypothesis presents an alternative explanation to the widely accepted extraterrestrial hypothesis for the origin of unidentified flying objects. The IDH suggests that UFOs and their occupants may originate from parallel dimensions or realities that coexist with our own. This hypothesis has gained considerable attention and has been advocated by prominent ufologists like Jacques Vallée. Vallée, perhaps the most prominent advocate of this theory, argued that the behaviors associated with UFO sightings and alien abductions are inconsistent with visitors from distant planets. Vallée proposed that UFOs might represent a parallel universe coexisting with our own. He proposed that their appearance in our reality could involve manipulation of space and time in ways that our current science cannot fully understand. John Keel, another ufologist, further expanded on the idea of non-human entities interacting with humanity through his ultra-terrestrial theory. Keel argued that many paranormal events, ranging from sightings of strange creatures to UFO encounters, could be explained by entities that have the ability to shift between dimensions. His theory tied them to traditional supernatural beings like ghosts, fairies, angels, and demons, as well as famously to cryptids like the Mothman. The scientific basis for the interdimensional hypothesis draws on theoretical physics, particularly ideas related to quantum mechanics and the multiverse theory. Physicists have long speculated about the possibility of multiple dimensions beyond the familiar three-dimensional space and one-dimensional time. String theory, for instance, suggests the existence of additional spatial dimensions, while the concept of a multiverse proposes that our universe could be just one of many coexisting realities. Proponents of the IDH argue that UFOs might be manifestations of beings or vehicles from these alternate dimensions, appearing in our reality due to fluctuations or overlaps between universes. One of the most intriguing aspects of the IDH is its ability to explain the seemingly bizarre and non-physical behaviors often associated with UFOs. For example, many UFO sightings involve objects that appear to defy the laws of physics, moving at incredible speeds, making sharp turns, or vanishing abruptly. These anomalies could be explained if the objects were not bound by the same physical laws as our universe, suggesting they might originate from a reality where different laws of physics apply. The IDH also offers a compelling explanation for the long history of strange phenomena that predates modern UFO sightings. From ancient myths of gods descending from the heavens to medieval reports of strange aerial phenomena like in Nuremberg in 1561, these events were rare but widespread. Vallée and other IDH proponents argue that these accounts could represent early interactions with interdimensional beings, who appeared in forms that were comprehensible to those people. In modern times, the IDH has gained traction as a way to interpret the wide variety of experiences reported by UFO witnesses. Another notable advocate of the IDH is David Grush, a former U.S. intelligence officer. He has claimed that the U.S. government has evidence of advanced technology that could be interdimensional in origin.